Welcome back to Pinkvilla Tech. Now last week we did a video where we taught you how you can use your mobile phone as a vlogging device and also edit your videos directly on the mobile phone. Now for the purpose of that video we had used the Samsung Galaxy Fold 3. This time we're going to replicate the same thing with the iPhone 13 Pro. I'm going to take you through each of these lenses on the iPhone 13 Pro and how we can squeeze out the best performance using the lenses on this phone. And also edit the footage on the device itself. Let's start off with the video. Now the iPhone 13 Pro has 4 lenses, 1 in the front and 3 at the back. All 4 of them are 12 megapixel lenses and the iPhone does squeeze out hell lot of performance from these smaller lenses or the smaller sensors as well. The algorithm has been great, and with the iPhone 13 Pro lineup, they have also introduced cinematic mode, which is going to come in handy for all of you guys who are getting into amateur filmmaking. Let's start off by talking about the selfie camera first, which is a 12 megapixel camera. Now the front sensor on the iPhone 13, as I mentioned earlier, is also a 12 megapixel sensor. So all the features that the main sensors use from the iPhone are also available on the primary or the selfie sensor. In this case, the neat feature that I like is when I'm trying to frame myself, and if there's somebody else in the frame who walks in, for example, if Nitesh walks in, the camera will reorient itself and widen, which it didn't, but we had to do it. But we did. And I also get an option to use portrait mode. It will detect my face from Nitesh's, and also use cinematic mode, which is a new feature, and I could switch between Nitesh's face and my face on the go, or later in edit switch where the camera should or the focus should be, which is a neat feature even on the selfie camera. The advantage that you get here is you're going to use the 6.1-inch display on the iPhone 13 as your viewfinder, and you're going to be able to frame your shots much more better. Thank you, Nitesh. Now on the back, the iPhone has 3 sensors which are 12 megapixel each. One is a wide sensor, there's an ultra wide, and there's a telephoto lens. Now all of these sensors can use the cinematic mode that the iPhone 13 series provides. Because of the cinematic mode, you're able to frame your shots more better, and you're able to adjust the bokeh effect in real time. Now you can do it, or the phone can do it in itself. There's an AI integrated into the phone which will then determine how the shot should be framed depending on the scene that you're shooting. Or later on in the edit, you can choose how the frame should be and then adjust the bokeh effect later. We'll show that to you guys later. However, for now, we'll set up a couple of objects on the table and show you guys how cinematic mode works on the iPhone 13 Pro and how you can select where the focus should be, and later on when you're editing, how you can edit it out later. Let's start off by shooting some objects on this table. Before I start shooting the video, there are a couple of features that are available on the iPhone 13 Pro now which were not available previously. Are the filters that you can directly use on the phone itself when you're trying to click. For example, right now when I want to take a picture and I want to adjust the temperature, on the top I can click on the icon which shows me frames, and I can change the filters in real time. That way I'm able to determine what is the kind of color settings that I require, because everybody has a different preference when it comes to when they're shooting camera videos or images, and we are able to do that directly now. With respect to the cinematic mode that I spoke about, with the cinematic mode, I'm now able to choose the object that I want to be in focus and then change the object or the focus directly later. Like for example, right now I'm focusing on the car which is behind the hullbuster armor here, and then I can switch it automatically. Or if I move the frame or shift it even a little, it will automatically, right now, the phone is identifying our director there, Siddharji, who is sitting and writing the logs for this video. So the focus is on him. But if I touch here on the hullbuster again, it's shifted. Later on, when we are editing this video, I'll show you how I can shift that focus back to the object that I was trying to focus on and not Siddharji. That's a good example right there. I'm trying to focus on the car, it's capturing, I move the frame, it's going back to hullbuster. If I move it to the car. So it's a very neat feature to have. It will especially come in handy when you want to shoot those amateur videos and then probably present to the film industry for approval. Now before I show you guys how I'm going to be editing the cinematic video on the iPhone 13 Pro, there is one small tip that I would like to share with you guys. Now this phone, or the iPhone 13 Pro, has an ultra wide lens, but if you're using the iPhone 13, you might not be having the ultra wide lens on your phone. You can, however, use the panoramic mode on your phone and capture a larger detail using the panoramic mode. And in this case, you can do it in vertical mode or horizontal mode. This time I'm going to be capturing the hullbuster armor here. I'm going to take an ultra wide shot only using the panoramic mode, and this output is going to be much more better than what the ultra wide lens would provide, because on the ultra wide lens there is a small curvature that you get when the object is near to the lens, and that just distorts or spoils the purpose of the image. But if you're using the panoramic mode, you're going to have a much more better output. I'll show you guys with this as an example. So you open your camera, select the panoramic mode, which is the last option in your camera lenses, hold the phone, put horizontal, and then start capturing. And the output that you get is going to be much better than what you would get using only the ultra wide lens. There's going to be no distortion, there's going to be no curving of the image on the edges that you'll get on the panoramic mode using the lens, instead of just using the ultra wide lens. So you don't need to have an ultra wide lens and still get a better output. Now let's go back to the video that we shot in cinematic mode and see how we can edit and adjust the focus in real time. So I've got this video here. On the top right corner, just click edit. For a larger frame, just turn the phone vertical. Now at the bottom, you will see those small yellow dots. These are on the timeline, the places where your phone is telling you that these are places where you can select the focus manually. You can, however, change it manually anywhere in the timeline, but let's try and change the focus on these lines. There's also, when you click on these focus points, you're able to delete that footage if you want, or that particular chunk of footage. So I'm selecting a footage here where I'm trying to shoot the hull buster and the DB11, but the phone has captured Adi because that's a living person. So the phone will always give a preference to a living person over objects. So I have Aditya who's being captured in the frame here, but I do not want that, is because these two are supposed to be in the frame. So let me shift the focus to hull buster. I can select hull buster, and the focus has now shifted to hull buster over Adi. In a similar way, the phone had in between captured Siddharth in the background over the car that I was trying to choose. And I can, again, there are 4 things that the camera has captured: hull buster, the DB11, Aditya, and Siddharth. So they are being marked here. I can select hull buster, I can select Aditya, I can even select Siddharth, or even the car in this case. If the car was not tracked, the phone will try and analyze if it can create that bokeh effect, and if it can, it will analyze the whole footage and try and adjust the frame, or that footage can be then edited as per your preference later. But then that's an advantage that you get in the cinematic mode, which you'll not get across any other phones. It's available across the iPhone 13 platform, and that's a very neat feature for you guys who are getting into amateur filmmaking, and that's going to add that very neat touch or a professional look that only something that probably a very expensive camera setup would provide. Now you can do it directly out of your pocket. And this is how you can shoot your vlog style videos or cinematic videos using the iPhone 13 Pro or any of the phones from the iPhone 13 series lineup. For more such tech related reviews and how-to videos, stay tuned to Pinkvilla Tech, and if there's anything in particular that you guys would like us to cover, leave us a comment. Have a good evening ahead.